Hello everyone and welcome back to Skull RC. Today we're going to talk to you about how to waterproof your servo. And I need to tell you right up front that there's really no such thing as waterproofing anything on these RC vehicles, but there is ways to make them water resistant. And I also need to tell you right up front is that anytime you use this product that I'm going to show you today, you're going to void your warranty. But in our experience and in the years that we've been doing RC, my son and I, which I didn't tell you in some of the other videos, he races a lot and we're really big into the RC hobby. Like the servos that we're going to talk about today, I've got a Spectrum here, I've got a High Tech, and then I've got one of the stock Traxxas servos. If you do what I'm going to show you today, you automatically void the warranty. But here's the kicker. If you read the warranties on any of them, if they have a warranty, the manufacturer basically finds a ton of ways to not cover the various servos or any electronics for that matter. So in my opinion, it's, I'd rather have these things waterproof or water resistant and take my chances knowing that my rig is going to be, it will hold up in water. And my son, I will tell you right now, if there's water or there's mud around, he's going to go through it. And I want to design all of our rigs, with the exception of some of his racing buggies, to hold up to water. Because water is probably the single biggest killer of electronics. So with that said, let's get started. And like I said, I have three different servos here, and they're all the same, but they're all different in different ways. And what I want to point out is when you're looking at all these servos, they all have these lines where they come apart. So if you were to take these screws off, you would have an area here where water could get in. You have an area around here where water can get in, and then right through here, water can get in, and then the same thing around this gear on the servo. Water can and will get in all these areas. Water is absolutely brutal on these things. So one of the first things we always do on any of the rigs that he's going to be running outside is we waterproof them. And we do this because, again, even though it voids the warranty, these things last a lot longer. And we'll be doing other videos where we talk about the ESCs and some of the other electronics on an RC vehicle. But for today, I want to stick primarily with just the servos because these are... These go out faster than anything. If you think about the locations of them, they're the first to hit the water. They're the first in the water, usually. And 80% of the time, these are the things that go out. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you do, and I've done it on these two already, is you want to remove the steering horn, okay? And the way you do that is you just take this little screw and you unscrew it. All right, real simple. Take that screw and pop this horn off. All right, some of those can be a little stubborn. Now, just to point out again, this for you guys that may not know, there's two different types of servos. There's the type that have the metal gears, which are these two. These are the ones that he's running on all of his rock crawlers or rock racers. And then there's some that have the plastic gears. Like this is a stock servo. I believe this is for a Slash. I could be wrong, but These servos obviously weigh more because they're metal, and they last a lot longer. Whenever we break a servo, I always go with a metal geared servo. And the other thing you have to be cognizant of is with these, when you take the servo horn off, like this little screw, if you look right here, see if we can zoom in on that. There's a little tiny washer right here. You want to make sure that you don't lose that little booger. That thing has a way of getting away from you. So what I always do, and we make it a habit, is anytime we take the horn off, I automatically just put the screw back in there along with that little washer. But again, if they have that washer, make sure you're careful with it. So what we're going to do to waterproof these guys is I'm going to use a product called Plasti-Dip. And this Plasti-Dip, there's two different types. There's this type, which is the spray can, and then they also have the type that you can dip your tools in and that we use for other electronics. But I like this because you can spray it and you can get a thin coat. There's also another product out there that we use. It's electrical tape. It's liquid electrical tape. But for the servos, this is the best route to go. And there's a number of reasons for that. But the biggest reason is that this will put on real thin coats, which is what you want. Whereas the other Plasti-Dip, you dip it in there so it's real thick, and then you start running into problems around these little brackets. So if you use the spray-on one, it just works so much better. Now, the key with this, and I'm going to show you here in a minute, is you have to do 2 coats on this. Because if you don't, then you're taking a chance that you're not sealing all these areas. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll take this high-tech one first. I've already shook this up, but you take it and you hold it up. All right, and basically you just want to go up the wire a little bit, maybe a couple inches. Turn it around. It's kind of difficult sometimes if you don't have 2 hands. Normally I do this over our sink, and my son is helping me, but he's doing the filming, so it makes it a little more challenging. And then make sure you get around that shaft. Now, keep in mind, if you look here, all right, this shaft, I have the liquid dip on it. And what we will do after it dries is we'll take a knife and we'll scrape all the Plasti-Dip off of it, because obviously you don't want to try to put your horn back on there with that Plasti-Dip on there. But again, you want to wait till it's thoroughly dried and then do that, okay? So we got a good first coat on this guy. Typically what I do is I just tie a little knot in it, and then I will put it over here. I have a little stand that will hold that. All right, and then we will do the next one. And again, thin coats, focus on those areas where water can actually penetrate these boxes. That's the part that you really have to be careful of. Okay. And again, I don't use the normal Plasti-Dip on these just because it puts on too much of that, and then you have problems when you're putting that servo on. So what we'll do is we will let these dry, and then I'm not going to come back with a second video. I don't think we need to do that. but we'll put another coat on it. This usually takes, I don't know, a good 4 to 6 hours to dry. Put another good coat on it. Make sure it's good and covered in all those key areas that I pointed out earlier, and then you're good to go. You've got a good water resistant servo. This is, again, the easiest way that we have found to do these servos, and honestly, we've never had a problem with them overheating, even when we run in the high temperatures. You do have to be careful, and we'll talk about it when we start talking about the ESCs and things like that overheating. I'll show you how to do this with the Plasti Dip again, because it will raise the temperature a little bit. I think on average, I think it's about 10 degrees, which isn't all that much, but if you're running outside in the desert or someplace where it's really hot, the beauty of this product is if you decide you need to change the gears out or rebuild the gears in the servo, all you have to do is peel this stuff off. All this is plastic, or I'm sorry, rubber. And it's real easy to peel off. So then you can peel it off, take it apart, and rebuild that servo with the parts. So it's kind of a win-win. There's really not a disadvantage to it. Now you can buy some of these servos that are water proof, but I can also tell you you're going to pay a boatload of money for them. Where with this Plasti Dip, this stuff, it costs like $8 for this can, and I'd rather spend that money, get a better servo, and do it myself and know that it's done right, than go on the other route. So hello everyone. Hey, I know I told you I wasn't going to do a second part to this video, but there's an important piece that I wanted you to see on this that I think it's easier for me to actually show you how to do it than to make sure we don't screw it up. So I've already done this one. As you can tell, it's nice and clean. The splines are real clean. The screw is real clean. Now the way to do this is obviously take your screw off and then take an X-Acto knife, and you just want to run it around the base of that, all the way around, nice and gently. Okay. Now, you can use this same knife to scrape the splines off. This is the important piece. If we can zoom in here, you can see that we have the Plasti Dip on here like we had on this one. See how clean this one is and how we got the Plasti Dip on here. Now there's a couple ways of doing this. You can actually use the X-Acto knife to just scrape this rubber off, just like I'm doing there. However, I have found, and that's why I have these here, and I talk about it in our what tools to have video, but I have dental picks, and I get these from the dentist for free every time we go in. These are awesome. All you have to do is ask your dentist if they have any extra ones or broken ones, and these work great for things like this. And these actually work great for a lot of different applications. But I wanted to show you with these dental picks, you can just get in there real easy and see how it's all just coming up. All right. Very easy way to do it. You won't ruin the blade on your knife that way either. So I won't go into doing it all for you, but the end product looks like this. And again, remember, if you're using an upgraded servo, don't forget about this little washer here. A lot of people don't think these are important, and they're extremely important. Okay, so that's it. Again, any questions or comments, hit us below, and please like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us at Skull RC.